Welcome, students. This is our second part of chapter Parties and Party System. Now we will take the heading from Shastri to Indira Gandhi, as we have discussed about Jawaharlal Nehru and Lal Bahadur Shastri's death in a very short period of 2 years. So, thus, the Congress faced the challenge to political succession for the second time in 2 years. So, Congress Party have faced who will the next leader of it, as he lost the two main leaders in the time of 2 years. This time there was an intense competition between Morarji Desai and Indira Gandhi. There were two main leaders that came, Morarji Desai and Indira Gandhi. Morarji Desai had earlier served as CM of Bombay State, today's Maharashtra and Gujarat, and also as a minister at the center. So Morarji Desai was experienced leader, and he has served as Chief Minister of Bombay State. Actually, Bombay was a presidency during the British time, and after the independence, so it was called Bombay State. It included the area of Maharashtra and Gujarat. So Morarji Desai was the Chief Minister and also served as the minister at center. Indira Gandhi, the daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru, had been Congress president in the past and had also been Union Minister for Information in Shastri's cabinet. Indira Gandhi had a strong position as she was daughter of Jawaharlal Nehru, and she had been Congress president in past and also had been Union Minister for Information. So it took some time before the new PM could settle down. There was a confusion, there was a competition between these two leaders. They are at the top of the party. So it takes some time. While Indira Gandhi had been politically active for a very long time, she had served as minister under Lal Bahadur Shastri only for a short period. As you can see that Morarji Desai had a long period of working as CM and minister. Indira Gandhi had a short period of ministry level. The senior Congress leaders may have supported Indira Gandhi in the belief that her administrative and political inexperience would compel her to be dependent on them for support and guidance. So the senior Congress leader thought that if Indira Gandhi would be the prime minister, she had not a sufficient experience, and he would compel her to dependent on them. So they could do what they wanted. So within a year of becoming PM, Indira Gandhi had to lead the party in Lok Sabha election. Within a year. Around this time, the economic situation in the country had further deteriorated, adding to her problem. The condition was worst. Faced with these difficulties, she set out to gain control over the party and to demonstrate her leadership skill. And now the fourth election of 1967. The year 1967, it is considered a landmark year in India's political and electoral history. There was too much turmoil. that was called Uthal Puthal in Hindi. So there were political and electoral histories. It was a great turmoil period. In chapter 2, we have read about how the Congress party was the dominant politically force throughout the country from 1952 onwards. Actually, there was no other party except the Congress, and this was the party of intellectual, educated, elite class, which gave the many ideas with Mahatma Gandhi to unite the country, and people also believed that there is no other party better than Congress. So Congress party was dominated after the first election to 1967. The Congress was unbeatable in the general election and always made the government. So this trend was to undergo significant changes with the 1967 elections. Now, the context of the election. In the year leading up to the fourth general elections, the country witnessed major changes. People have seen many changes in the fourth general election. Two PMs had died in quick succession, and the new Prime Minister, who was being seen as a political no voice, had been in office for less than a year. So after two experienced prime minister, what whom they got Indira Gandhi as their prime minister, she had lack of experience, less than a year. As we have read that the period was fraught with grave economic crisis. I am talking about the period of Lal Bahadur Shastri. There was resulting for successive failure of monsoon, widespread drought, decline in agriculture production, serious food shortage, drop in industrial production and exports, combined with a sharp rise in military expenditure and diversion of resources from planning and economic development. So these are the problems of that time. One of the first decisions of Indira Gandhi's government was to devaluate the Indian rupee under what was seen to be the pressure from the US. US pressurized because there was a lot of import that came into India from the US. So US pressurized India to devaluate the money as its dollar was greater than the Indian rupee. Earlier, 1 US dollar could be purchased for less than rupees 5. After devaluation, it cost more than 7 rupees. So there is a 2 rupees loss to India. The economic situation triggered off price rise. This situation resulted as the price rise of essential goods for the public to rise the public problem. People started protesting against the increase in price of essential commodities, food scarcity, lackness of food, growing unemployment, and overall economic condition in country. The condition was very worst at that time. That is why the people started protesting. Bandh and Hartal were called frequently across the country. The government saw the protests as a law and order problem and not as expression of people's problem. Government thought that there was a जो डेमोन्स्ट्रेशन है कि उसमें कहीं लोग जो है कानून तोड़ रहे हैं तो इसको मेंटेन करना चाहिए, लेकिन उन्होंने ये ध्यान नहीं दिया कि लोगों की एक्चुअल प्रॉब्लम क्या है, वो किस वजह से ये प्रोटेस्ट कर रहे हैं. So this further increased public bitterness and reinforced popular unrest. So पब्लिक जो थी वो कड़वाहट से भर गई, गवर्नमेंट के लिए उसका जो है भरोसा उठ गया. द कम्युनिस्ट एंड सोशलिस्ट पार्टीज लॉन्च्ड स्ट्रगल फॉर ग्रेटर इक्वालिटी. Other parties always try to these situations that they support the public and take their attention to them. So the Communist and Socialist Party launched a struggle for greater equality. This period also witnessed some of the worst Hindu-Muslim rights since independence. After independence, during the independence, we have read in the chapter first how the rights were spread and how many people were killed in those rights. So after the independence, there were also rights spread in between Hindu and Muslim. So it is enough for today. Thank you. And if you see the video, then you will comment in a comment box that we have seen the video. Thank you.